Hi everyone, I hope everyone is doing great. We are amazing over here. Now, if it's your first time seeing my face or my husband's face or coming across this channel or this particular podcast, you are welcome. I hope you like what you see and you decide to stay and join the family. But if you're a regular or a subscriber, welcome back. Thank you for choosing to tune in once again. We truly do appreciate the support. My name is Tshwanelo Shi, and I'm here with
Johnson Shi, of course.
And together we are
The Shi.
The Shis. Welcome to the Diary of Two podcast. I believe this is episode 8. Do you mind sharing with us what the number 8 means in the Asian community?
I think not just Asians these days, I think a lot of society are aware about the number 8, which is the number of wealth, right? The other way of looking at it is fortune.
Yeah.
And it's just a year of money making, basically.
So is this our fortune episode?
Yes, it's our fortune episode.
Would we call it that?
We hope so, because we haven't made a single cent off of it yet.
Yeah, I don't think I'd want to say that.
Yes, but obviously we can manifest, right? No one's
Yeah.
going to kill us for manifesting. We might be attracting it at the end of the day.
So this is our episode of fortune.
Yeah.
Episode 8. Thank you for joining us throughout the journey, guys. We are really enjoying shooting these episodes for you. I hope you guys enjoy consuming the content, of course. Now, today we are chatting about keeping the love burning, making sure the relationship stays interesting and beautiful. I mean, there are people who will find themselves in relationships for a long time or marriages for a long time that it starts getting familiar, boring, common, uniform, but it really does not have to be like that, right?
I love the word uniform. The word thank. Nice one, baby. Okay. Such
you
an
want to
uncommon
make me lose my
word.
train of thought. People also are scared of getting into relationships because they're scared of that people get too comfortable.
Yeah.
People get too familiar with each other that the relationship literally starts losing the excitement. So today we just want to look into how do we try and keep the relationship as interesting as it was in the beginning. Let's say you've been in it for like 5 years now, 10 years or so, and literally you feel like you know everything about your partner and you've done everything with your partner. So how do we ensure that being in a relationship for long doesn't get problematic, if I'm putting it correctly?
So like you were saying, love, it's so easy for us to get too complacent, being complacent, right? And I think oftentimes, whether you're married or in a relationship for long, whether you have kids, people just become complacent.
Yeah.
As a guy, because you are the head, you're a hunter, you're a lion. Once you hunt and you get what you want, you can easily become complacent because now you can eat and feast. But it's important to go back to how you actually got this person.
Exactly.
Like a pastor said, that it's important for us to remember that how you got them is how you keep them.
Exactly. That's important. So I think let's just get right into it. Right?
Let's get in.
So I feel like we always agree on this one,
Yeah.
that the best way to keep your spouse or your partner is by ensuring that you never stop dating your significant other. I'm sure you guys have heard this before many times because a lot of people believe it, but not everybody practices it.
Yeah.
So it's important that you continuously date your partner. So when we speak dating, what are we talking about, my love?
So there's different dynamics to it, right? It's dating.
Also, sorry to disturb you, just to explain to us, what do we mean when we say continue dating?
It can be from the simplest things to the most unrealistic things.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So in the simplest form, going out for a coffee and talking about how do you feel? Is this relationship working? Where are we going with this relationship? Talking, I think. I think dating with communication goes hand in hand. But just being able to go back to where you were before. Remember now, once you have kids, once you get married, a lot of dynamics change, right? You have to take care of the kids. You have to worry about this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
Of this one's extramurals, this one's language, and all of that, right? And you forget, about your partner. Never mind yourself, right? But you forget who this person actually is. Because you just see them for who they are, of what they're doing to take care of the family.
Yes.
But you don't know who they are again, of how they were, because you don't communicate. And I think that's why a lot of marriages fail, because they don't communicate these things. And they don't make the time, It's sort of like that thing of not planning to, not plan, and not having a plan is planning to fail, basically, So I think communication with dating is important, but the essence of it, I think, is going out, doing something together as a couple.
Yeah. Of which it doesn't always have to be at a prestigious restaurant or hotel.
Yeah.
You can do the simplest dates. You can go to McDonald's and chill. I remember that's how we were at the beginning of our relationship. We loved going to McDonald's so much. Yeah. And I feel like we found out so much about each other at McDonald's.
Yeah, true.
So it doesn't hurt to do it now.
Yeah. Even like you're saying, McDonald's can be expensive for somebody, right?
Yes.
They're going to need to do it once a month at the end of the month, Even grabbing a cup of coffee somewhere, or a milkshake somewhere, or even the way we used to eat in varsity, grabbing chips and bread and a cold drink and
just chat and just spend time together.
Yeah.
For me, it also extends to when somebody says keep dating your spouse, it means keep spending time with them alone so that you can remember and see them as your spouse. My husband just said now that you always see, for instance, I always see my husband as a dad at home.
Yeah.
Because for us, we've got 4 kids, so it's a lot. I always have to ask him, is this one done with their homework? Have we paid for this one's extramurals? Have we gone to the meeting for this one and that one? So most of the time it's parenting. So dating kind of allows us to see each other outside of parenting and outside of being a household leader. It kind of takes me back to seeing Johnson as my boyfriend, as my Johnson. As opposed to being daddy. For that instance, he's just my Johnson, he's just my man. And it kind of also reminds me of why I fell in love with him. The chats we'll have, seeing him in a different eye. Of course, when we are out on a date, we don't completely forget that we've got kids and we are parents and stuff like that. Because what I've noticed with us is that, especially with me, is that I've loved my husband for as long as I remember. But I feel like with us having children, it has made me love him more. Seeing you play your role as a father has made me love you more. So I can't kind of shake it off when I'm looking at you as my boyfriend. It really, really, really has made me love you way more than I actually loved you before.
Yeah.
Because the way you father and just watching you do your thing with the kids is really amazing for me. So I enjoy it. But I'm just saying that most of the time, the essence behind dating your spouse is to always remember that outside of every other role that they play, they're still your man. They're still your woman,
Yeah, and also I think dating, remember now at the beginning of the video, the topic itself is how do you keep the fire alive, right?
Yeah.
And you also mentioned the fact that how do you keep the relationship interesting? Now, the word interesting is interesting. But what I'm trying to get at is, we've been together for how long now? I don't remember.
How
I'm
long
bad
have
with
we been
dates.
together?
How long is it? 8 years, 7 years. How many years? But yeah, long enough, right? And just the other day, you and I were busy getting intimate, right? And something happened in a different position, right? And it was both of us were like very satisfied and intrigued with one another, right? And in that way, it's important to try different things with your partner. And even at the end, you were like, have sex with your husbands, guys, because it's so much more worth it type of thing, right?
So much for creating family-friendly content.
No, but I'm just saying, like, keep it interesting, but it's important to do it with your significant other.
other.
Because if you're going to be all over the show, I don't know if it's going to be the same. You might not get that connection.
Yeah.
You know, whereas if it's with the person that you're going to spend the rest of your life with, it's so much more worth it because you know that, hey, I've created this memory with this person and I can always reflect on it, you know. But sorry about that. But this came off the top of my head that you have to keep the relationship interesting. And in order for you to keep it interesting, find different things
to do with only each other. You know. And also remember now, when you get married, you're gonna find out your personal partner, their type of love language, and in that way you'll be able to, you know, dig in deeper by going on specific dates that will intrigue this person. Like for instance, if you like going out shopping and stuff like that, I have to find different places to take you out, right? Or if you like different type of cakes, I have to find different cakes or what do they call, savory places that allow us, you know, to go and indulge in together. And even if I don't like it, I have to do it because at the end of the day, you are my partner and I have to make it work. Sometimes you have to also sacrifice for the other partner. Yeah, definitely.
In that instances,
definitely. I think the second point would be ensuring that you take care of yourself. Taking care of yourself is very important. It could get difficult sometimes because of the dynamics that continuously change in the family. Yeah. But I always say, okay, I'm lying. My husband always says, we speak in one voice, my love. Yeah. So my husband always says that he always makes this interesting analysis that a person who you are most likely to trust is a person who completely takes care of themselves.
Yes.
You know, he tells me, because he's in property, he tells me, for people to trust you with a lot of money and with selling like their luxury properties, you have to look good, look like you take care of yourself, because nobody's going to trust you if you don't take care of yourself.
Definitely.
Same applies in relationships. Same applies in marriages. We know how much discipline it takes for you to have a certain body type, to have a certain mental IQ. For instance, you know, you don't have to be a genius to be smart, in my opinion.
Yes.
Just the kind of information you consume, the kind of content you consume, the kind of value you bring to conversations, that all falls under ensuring that you take care of yourself. You take care of your mental, you take care of your physical, right? Yeah. It's important because now also, remember, most people when you meet, when you start dating, you both still kids or young, and you are in the greatest shape of your life. You're in your 20s. There's no kids yet. You don't stay together all the time. So every time you see each other, you ensure that you are going to impress this person. Yes. You take hours making sure that you shower, you put your makeup on, you get your hair nice, and then this person falls in love with all of that, right? And then you get married.
Yeah.
Then you stay together. This person sees you in the morning when you wake up, before you've put all the makeup and ensured that the hair is nice and the outfit is nice. And then how do you ensure that this person still looks at you and is like, wow? It's merely taking care of your original self before putting on things, right? Watching your weight. Watching weight is not easy.
Yeah, it's not.
But it's one of the biggest ways to ensure and show that you are taking care of yourself, right? Because at the end of the day, clothes you will always take off. Makeup you will always wipe off. Your hair you can always take it off. Like we wear wigs now, so you can always take it off.
Yeah.
You know, but your own physical, your natural physical body, you need to take care of.
Yes. I think also, you know, on that point, it's like in business again, you know. Somebody says that when you start a business, you learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
You know, business comes with discipline, comes with consistency, comes with persistence, basically, right? But also in a relationship, how do you keep the fire burning is by putting in more fuel, putting in more wood, putting more oil, right? So like you're using the example of somebody who takes care of themselves, like somebody who is disciplined to go to the gym every single day, 5 times a week, type of thing, you know that this person is most likely to take care of whatever it is you are giving them. So for instance, in a relationship, it's your heart, right? Somebody will take care of it because they are consistent and they are disciplined, right? And you see that over time. You don't see it in day 1 or 2. You see it over time. You know, in our previous episode, we spoke about you have to see your partner in different phases,
Yes.
right? So even in our very first episode, we spoke about patience, right?
Yeah.
Love is patient, right? It takes time for you to get to know your partner.
Yeah.
But in that way, it'll take discipline and consistency to keep nurturing that heart that you've given me the responsibility to take care of, right?
That's a very, yeah.
There was an example that I wanted to make where this thing of taking care of yourself, right? Before, when we first started dating, I was not, okay, I'm still not, but I've gotten better. But I think that's also the important thing of being married.
Yes.
Your spouse has to make you level up, has to make you improve, right? So a simple example is, back then I didn't really care about the way I looked or the way I dressed. I could wear anything. I could wear an NHA t-shirt and shorts and go to school, you know. But we're in varsity. I don't think many people were really, okay, you on that hand. But I guess that's why I'm saying you have to level up, right?
Yeah.
You have to improve yourself. But something that really tipped me was something that I saw on Facebook the one time where, you know, us guys, we always want to, or we always expect a woman to have nice lingerie or underwear at least,
Yes.
right? Obviously, because when you get into that situation, you want to be aroused in the right manner. And then I'm thinking to myself, hey, I need to level up here because I could wear, sorry to say, but like torn, even if it's a small thing, like I'll say it's still small, you know, I won't change it now. I'll change it when it's bigger or if it's a problem, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm showing anyone, so it's
Yeah.
underneath. That's why it's an underwear. But then it made me think, no, how fair is it that I expect my wife or my significant other to have proper underwear and, you know, lingerie, and then me having torn things? It's not going to turn you off as a partner, right? So I have to take care of myself. And in that way, you know, it doesn't have to, I mean, I'm not saying you should get Calvin Klein. I mean, but if you can afford it, you can, right? But try and get proper underwear. So that is going hand in hand with what you're saying of taking care of yourself, you know. But there were a lot of other things like gymming, dressing well, smelling good. I mean, you don't have to buy expensive perfume. You can just buy spray, which is like, what, $20?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just taking
But
care
it
of
works,
yourself.
it works, yeah. I think you said something very nice, like, if somebody takes care of themselves, they're most likely to take care of your heart. That is a very nice statement, eh?
Yeah, but just think about it. Like I'm saying, it works hand in hand with business. So in business, you learn these principles. And in that way, you take it in your daily life.
Yeah. Also, like what you said, that it's unfair to expect your partner to take care of themselves while you are not. You know, in essence, most of the time, when you take good care of yourself and your partner really doesn't, of which this is what really happened with us, because I always care about how I look. You know, for me, I've always been that person. Even now, like I've never stopped. I've always cared about how I look, what I'm wearing. Does it match? Does it, my bag, my shoes, what's happening? What's the story, you know?
Yeah, to share, sorry, love, to cut you. To share with everyone, my wife has a problem. If you wear Adidas and Nike at the same time, it's a problem. You must wear in sync everything.
You must be in sync. You can be off balance a bit, but like don't.
No, I got you.
I don't consider myself like a fashion forward person, but I consider myself conscious about how I look.
No, I understand. Yeah.
Appearance is very important for me, you know. So I don't really put in a lot of effort into it, but I've already like tuned my mind into how I like looking. And then I met somebody who was like, as long as I'm clean and I'm on time. But you know, me liking to look a certain way kind of did rub off on my husband, because now, my husband loves going shopping now. He loves checking his outfits out. He loves planning his outfits, because I've always done that. I will plan my outfit today for what I'm going to wear tomorrow. So he usually watched me do that, and then it rubbed off on him. It's a good thing that when you take care of yourself, you don't know who you are influencing also.
Definitely.
You don't know who you're influencing. Because for me, it has gotten a bit harder to be so conscious about my appeal, because with the weight I've gained, I've literally had to teach myself that no, it's not wrong for me to buy the size that I actually am right now. Because if I keep holding on to the smaller clothes, then I look funny. But if I actually go out there and I buy my size right now, I can still look nice and appealing, right? So I don't know, you wanted to say something, sorry.
I also lost my train of thought. But I think it was the thing of what you're saying. Taking care of yourself, right? You don't know who you're gonna meet that day as well.
Yeah, I always say that.
So yeah, my point was trying to get to remember now, if you're married especially, or if you're in a relationship, whenever you step out there, you are representing that person. So it's important to take care of yourself, right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's always go back to your partner. If your partner is there to help you to grow, then it's for the better good.
For the best.
Yeah. Think of it in a positive manner. But I do always tell him, I love you, love, and I appreciate everything that you do.
Yeah, same here. We've learned so much from each other.
But we're not talking about us here.
And it's amazing how you... Most of the time, I feel like you're not listening to me when I talk to you. But now, when you say the things that I usually say, I realize that you're actually listening. It's just that maybe I want you to listen in a different way.
Yeah. But also the essence behind it of also, when you get married, they tell you that you become one. So if I'm going to go out there, I'm representing us, not just myself now.
So you must be careful.
Yeah, back then, if I was single... I could wear anything that I want because I'm just going out. I'm like, who cares? And it's not like I'm seeing anybody important. Now, I don't know if I'm going to meet.
And you got me with that.
Exactly.
Even during your fashion disaster days. But hey, you got me.
Yeah, but I guess it comes with also confidence, right? But also, my thing with the whole thing of taking care of yourself, I think it also works hand in hand with dating. Because on a daily basis, you as a housewife or... whatever, right? So you're going to dress up for work. You're going to be comfortable.
As a housewife, you can't dress up for work.
Yeah, I'm just saying those people who dress up to go, who have the 9 to 5 type of thing. They go to work in their work clothes. You have to be presentable and stuff like that. But sometimes you got to put that dress on, girl. The red dress or the black silk dress, And it's important to do that because also it's going to be... Remember that advert of Vusi?
What was it about?
It says something about like Vuyo was such a big dreamer.
Oh, Vuyo, not Vusi.
I don't know if it was 2 adverts or if it was 1. But anyway, I think the end of that advert was saying that my grandmother used to always tell me that if you dress good, you feel good. And when you feel good, you do good.
True.
I think it was from that. The essence of the advert was that. So my essence with this point is that for you as a mother and as a wife, it's important to also remember yourself. Remember that you are materially conscious, right?
Exactly.
So with that, you being a mom, you can just be in pajamas the whole day. Nobody's going to see you. Nobody cares. But your husband might care. Yeah. Because your husband will come back from work and he's expecting you to be decent, not in pajamas. But he sees you at night. Even at night, it's going to come off. So it doesn't really matter, So it's important for you, date nights where you can actually doll up,
dress up,
and look good and do your hair, do your nails, and do the necessary things to arouse your partner. Yeah.
Interesting. The next point is you should also yourself as an individual. Remember who you are. Because we get so into our characters, like I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and then I forget that behind that or before all of that there was Twanelo first. So we literally forget about who we are and we kind of identify ourselves with the kind of characters or roles we play in our lives once we get married. And I'll be the first one to admit, for me, for the longest time, and I feel like even now, yes, I'm talking about it now, I realize the importance and significance. But for me, I feel like I can't really do it now, like fully, where I identify outside of being a mother and a wife. Because most of the time when somebody asks me, oh, tell me about yourself, for me, it will always be, I'm married and I've got 4 kids. And then anything else comes after that, of which I know that it's not the best way to live your life. At the end of the day, I still need to be like, oh, my name is Twanelo. I love this color. I love doing this. This is what I do for work and stuff like that. But for me, I feel like for the past, for as long as I can remember, I feel like for like my whole 20s, my thing has been I'm a wife and I'm a mom. You know, but I feel like the more I watch podcasts, I read books, I kind of and listen to older people. you can play those roles 100%. I can be a wife and a mother very well, but with knowing who I am and pouring into myself. Because we always say with my husband that you cannot pour from an empty cup. You know, for me to be the best mother I can be, I need to be the best Swanelo I can be.
Yes.
For me to be the best wife I can be, I need to be the best woman I can be. Right? So I feel like most of us struggle, me, myself included. You know, I feel like for the longest time, I haven't really paid attention to what I am outside of these two roles that I feel are the most important roles in my life. You know, so I don't know.
So with that, I think it's important for me. The main point out of that is that remembering yourself, right? It's important to have your own individuality, meaning that you should also have your own time, your own peace of mind.
Yes.
You know, just to dwell on life itself and your personal self. You know, you can start appreciating your partner, your kids, and all of that, but just to have your space and time. Sometimes other people want it in the sense of going out for basketball or a coffee or a beer with their mates and stuff like that. You know, when I'm thinking though, but I think oftentimes guys get carried away. Women can also, but in my example, it's like, think like a man. You see those guys, they haven't fully grown essentially. One is a mama's boy, one is a
Think
chama.
Like a Man, the movie.
Yes, think like a man, you know. Whereas if too much of that, you'll forget your partner, because now you're spending so much time with them. There's a saying that where your energy goes is where your attention goes, right? So rather put your attention on what is important and spend time with them. But also having that space and time for those activities, but limited, right? Because you can easily get carried away.
I like that. I like what you said about where you put your energy, that's where your attention is. Where you put your attention, that's where your energy is.
Yes, it's actually that way. So where your attention is where your energy goes.
I feel it's interesting that you actually said some alone time.
Yeah.
For me, again, I feel like I think I'm a very codependent partner. Right? I used to be very independent before I had you, before you and I met. I used to do everything by myself, or my friends or whatever. You know, I never was a codependent partner until we met. You know, I feel like right now, even if I'm planning to do something with my friends, I'll end up saying, babe, come with me.
Yeah.
You know, like for instance, we had this run, we had this 5 kilometers run we were planning with a friend of mine. And then we were supposed to do it, just us the girls. Then I was like, babe, do you want to come and join us? And then she also suggested asking her husband to come and join. You know, I feel like I'm at a point where I am comfortable. I'm doing something that I like. I'm comfortable with being a codependent partner right now, where I do everything with my husband. Even if I want to go to the salon, I'll ask him, okay, at least drop me off. Even if you don't wait for me, at least drop me off and then you'll pick me up. Okay, I'm going to do my nails. Okay, babe, my nails won't take that long. Just come with me, you know.
Half the day is gone.
But I've noticed that I'm a very codependent spouse. But now I realize also, post-reading, listening to podcasts and stuff, and listening to older people, I'm realizing now that it's important to have your me time, and of which I don't think I have. And I don't feel like it's not because I can't. It's because I don't want it.
Yeah, both of us as well. Like I know that I've been trying to meet up with my friend for the longest of time, but I just haven't. I'm also just complacent, I think, in my space with my wife. You know, not complacent, but I enjoy being in my wife's presence. I don't mind doing things with my wife. Sometimes it's a bit too much, but you know, I enjoy it because I get to see the craziness, the crazy side of her, right?
I do think, however, though, my love, that we have to be very intentional about giving each other alone time.
How long have we been saying that, love? I think it's been years. But yeah, okay, none about us.
But I think it's important. I feel like we should maybe try and challenge ourselves to giving ourselves. But if it fails, it fails because.
At least we are together, you know.
Yeah, I do feel. I don't know. Would you admit that you are also codependent?
Not really.
Not really.
Not
as much as me. Yes.
Yeah. The thing is, I can't have my individuality when you are codependent on your partner, so it won't work.
No, but do you wish?
But not that I mind. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's interesting that we try so hard to do our individual things. You know, what's the other funny thing? The other funny part is that we always go to the bookstore together. We read at the same time and we finish our books. We are most likely to finish our book the same time. Ne? So I'll say to my husband, no, it's fine, read your book, I'll read mine. At the end of the day, we end up giving each other reviews.
Yeah.
But the actual plan was, when you're done with your book, I'll read it. When I'm done with mine, I'll give it to you. So I feel like, to a certain extent, the only individual time we have to ourselves is reading a book. But we are sitting together reading the book. It's not like you read and I'm not there, I'm there.
Yeah.
So I want to read with you there.
Yeah, it's not working. The individuality.
I feel like it could be a time for us. This could be the moment where we have to realize that, yes, individualism, as much as it's important, it doesn't really work for us.
No, but I think it's also, it might be a bad thing that we don't have our individuality, ne? And how detrimental it is, I don't think we are too concerned, because unless one of us dies, then it's a problem, right? But I think it's a good thing in the perspective of, you know yourself.
Yeah.
Like for instance, you are codependent, right? So it's good to know that, so that you can do something about it. Right? You can indulge in it rather than try and not do it.
Yeah.
Because then you're going to make yourself unhappy, right, in the relationship.
True.
And it's that thing you were saying the other day, where if you are unhappy, then you're not going to be happy in the marriage. And you won't give happiness to your kids as well. So rather do things that will make you happy, and that way you will also give happiness to your spouse and your kids.
I love that. That's true. I think another point that we need to look at, relationships are hard.
It's not easy.
Relationships, let me not say relationships are hard. Relationships can be hard. Relationships can be challenging, because there are... I was going through some of the comments from our previous video where we spoke about... not the previous, one of our other videos that we did, where we were talking about the biggest fears about getting married young. You know, somebody made a very interesting analogy about how married people always talk about how difficult marriage is. That thing kind of makes you feel like, if married people are already saying it's difficult, why would I get into that? You know, I really did love that comment. If the person is watching, your comment was really, we had a chance to talk about it with my husband, and it was an eye-opener for us, and it taught us to change the way we talk about our marriage and the way we talk about relationships. Hence, I'm saying now, relationships and marriage can be hard. It doesn't have to be. It can be. Depending on the circumstances, right? So, with that, committing to anybody is difficult. You know, because you have to get used to a new way of thinking. You are open to a new way of opinions and stuff like that. Because before you are married, you make all the decisions. And if it sounds right to you, that's it. You are the CFO, CEO, HR of your own life. No one else is going to say anything. But once you are married, everything is put on the table, and you have to negotiate. You have to put in a request and stuff like that. You are not the only person who's making decisions. That's where I say marriage and relationships can be hard, because now you have to talk about everything, no matter how small you think it is, right? So with that said, praying for your relationship, praying for your spouse, and praying for yourself is very important to make sure that your relationships stays intact. It stays beautiful in your marriage, because now remember, you're dealing with a whole different person. Right? Loving the person doesn't mean the person is going to be an easy person. And being and marrying somebody that you love doesn't mean it will make the marriage a walk in the park. Right? There's still other things about your partner that you will discover that you don't like. But you still love this person. So how do you then make sure that you don't walk away? Just because of the smallest thing, you're like, because we can't agree on which schools to take our kids. Let me just take the kids and live with them on my own. Again, full custody, and then I'm the one who's going to raise my kids and do whatever I want. It doesn't work like that. It's important that you pray for yourself first, to be open-minded, and to be, sometimes, I don't want to use the word obedient, but to be open to sacrificing. Because it's not only your way that's going to happen in the relationship. It's not only your way that is going to be adhered to in the relationship. you also have to listen to the next person. So you need to pray to God for the spirit of humbleness. That's what I wanted to say. Not obedience, but being humble. You need to sometimes humble yourself and listen to the next person and understand. Don't listen to respond. Listen to understand where they're coming from. So we usually come into relationships saying, I will pray for my spouse. What about you?
Yeah.
Because in marriage and relationships, you need to work on yourself first. You can't really just jump and say, I want to work on you, but I didn't work on me. It's the same thing that, I don't know what this thing is called. You know those white things that you usually have in your eyes? You always want to remove the next person's one, but you can't see your own, right? So it's important that you pray for yourself, to humble yourself enough to be able to listen to the next person and to allow the next person to express themselves. You know, I feel that can, to a certain extent, ensure that your relationship stays successful and the fire stays burning. Also, pray for your spouse and then pray for the relationship, pray for the marriage.
Yeah. So there's a couple of points on that, love, on praying, right? But you'll remind me because I might lose my train of thought.
Yeah.
But this thing of what you're saying about individuality, right? It's important for people to have their own individuality and stuff like that. But when you get in a relationship, it's also very important to remember that there's not I anymore. You said it in one of our previous episodes, right? There's no more I.
It's we.
It's we, us, and our way. So when we look at the word our, right? It's O-U-E-U-R, right?
It's O-U-E.
O-U-R, sorry. So in that specific word, right, there's two vowels, right? Which is O and U. And we know that vowels are in each and every single word out there, right? So it just shows the importance of those specific letters, right? But when you look at the word our, the first letter is O, right? It's a complete roundness. U, which is like a half of a circle.
Yes.
And then you get a R. So what I'm trying to get at is the man is the head of the family. So he's the O. He's the completeness. But he doesn't find the completeness if he doesn't find his other half, which is the U. And when they come together and when they find their way, that becomes the revelation, which is the R.
Yeah.
And becomes our way rather than my way,
My way.
or I in that relationship, right? So the other points I want to make about prayer, it's so important to pray individually now, right? As a person, for your life, for peace, for all that thing, right? But like you're saying, it's so important for you to pray about the marriage itself, because it can be difficult. But the point I want to make on difficult is that I saw this quote, I think even Boiti posted about it, where she was saying that, relationships are hard, but divorce can be hard as well. Marriage can be hard, divorce can be hard, all the different things in life is hard. There's no easy way about it, right? It's just how you make it work. And if it is something that you want to work on. So do you want to make the relationship hard? Do you want to make the marriage hard? Or do you want to make the divorce hard? Because divorces can be very hard as well. Because like you're saying about kids, we can negotiate that we're going to do 50-50 custody. But because of my ego and my greed, whatever it is that I want you to suffer, I might want to get all custody. And in that way, you make the relationship hard. Whereas you could be co-parenting so effectively as some people are doing out there, right? But also with praying, I believe that some people are not in a relationship yet or considering a partner, I want to make the point of manifestation goes hand in hand with prayer. I've always told you that I've always prayed about you as a partner before I got into this marriage, right? And you were everything that I prayed for. It's just that I didn't know the time, the person, and how it was going to happen. But when you came, I think in my heart I knew, and in my gut, that you are the perfect one. And that came through praying about the person that you want. So I also encourage people out there, before they get into a serious relationship, before they get married, to pray about the person they want, but also pray about themselves. Because if you want, as I was mentioning in the previous episode, where if you expect 100 things from my partner, be that person of 100 qualities first before you can expect it of somebody else. It's that thing that I always encourage my friend that I'm supposed to be meeting, that I always, finding stories, is that, because he had some tough times with previous relationships, I always encourage him to work on himself. Because if he's working himself up and the person that he's supposed to get is also making their way, leveling up basically, at some points they will find each other, right? Whereas if he's letting go, that person is probably never going to be found, basically.
Yeah, that's hey.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, guys, let's pray. Let's stay prayed up because there is a lot of things going on out there. I mean, we always say that God fights battles for us that we are not even aware of.
True.
You know, so it's important that you don't only look at the problems that you have and only pray for that. It's important that in the good days, you ask God to sustain this joy, this warmth, you know, because I don't believe God created marriage for our people to suffer.
Yeah.
I believe that God created marriage for people to enjoy life, for people to procreate, for people to have a lifetime friend, a lifetime partner for whatever it is that you need. You know, so stay prayed up and ensure that you give your relationship unto God because God knows it all.
Yeah.
No one else knows it all like God. God knows it all. He knows why you guys are even together.
Yeah.
You know, there's also this quote that I saw that says, get into a marriage where God can birth something special in. You know, you don't want to get into a marriage that is going to frustrate you and you feel like you are better off without the marriage, you know. So marriage should be enjoyed. I will say this always. Marriage is meant to be enjoyed, not endured. You're not supposed to be begezela, guys, in marriage. Marriages are not meant, marriage are not a place where we are supposed to begezela. Marriages are a place where we're supposed to flourish, discover our new selves, you know. Ayanda Boroto said it best. This is Ayanda Boroto on King David's podcast, where she was like, marriage is another opportunity to rebirth yourself, because you are going to discover yourself again. Before you are married, rather, you know yourself as just you.
Yes.
But once you get an opportunity or the blessing to get married to somebody else, you are going to rediscover yourself now as a different person, and you are going to birth some special things in that marriage. It might not be children, you know, it might be businesses, it might be the way you think, the way you speak, the way you walk. Marriages sometimes teach people how to live.
Yeah.
Some people live different lives before they get married.
True.
You know, so I think it's important to pray to ensure that your marriage and your relationship stays intact. And I promise you, prayer will ensure that fire stays burning.
Amen.
Was there another point that you wanted to add, or do you feel like...
No, you've just highlighted it. Yeah, everything.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching our podcast. We hope you guys enjoy watching it as much as we enjoy making it. We love you guys so much. Thank you for the support. We will be seeing you next week for episode 9, Love and Light.